This is going to be an interesting video. Welcome back to the Liam Talks EFL channel today. Today we're back with the ranking videos. We're back today ranking every championship stadium 24 to 1, best to worst. This will definitely cause a stir in the comment section down below. So before we get going into that, if you would like to be kind enough and drop a like and subscribe to the channel, as we are so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. Any support you show this channel is massively appreciated. I've got big plans for the upcoming EFL season, so if you would like to be on board with that, make sure to subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and let's get talking championship stadiums. 24th place, Oxford United. Now I think the less said the better about the Kassam Stadium. First of all, it's a three-sided stadium in the championship, which you don't see very often. And of course, don't get me wrong, Oxford had a really good year last year, deservedly got promotion, and to be honest, on their stadium, it isn't a good look at all. It really just does ruin the fact that they do not have a stand behind the other goal. It's not a good look at all, and I'm sure Oxford fans will be really excited to move into their new stadium whenever that is. So Oxford United, bottom spot. 23rd place, Luton Town. Yes, it's unique. Yes, you can say it's been in the Premier League and all that, but if you are going based off what it looks like capacity wise and in comparison to other stadiums in the Championship, it deserves to be near the bottom. It's another team, of course, that are building a new stadium. It will be a shame because I can understand Luton fans will go at it from a point of view that it's got character, and I can understand in that way, yes, but when you look at it as a Championship stadium, it is not Championship quality at all, and I'm sure the away end, once Luton Town will make their new stadium, will be very much missed. 22nd place, this is when it's going to get interesting, Hull City. Now a lot of people are definitely going to disagree with me on this one, but there's just something about Hull Stadium that I really don't like, whether it's the bowl structure when you're looking at it from an aerial view, I'm not too sure. Boothray Park I really did enjoy. Of course it's past my time, but looking back pictures of it, I really did like the look of this stadium, but now they've got that bowl structure, I'm just not a fan of this. 21st place, Swansea City, and it just is sort of a mid stadium. It is average at best. It's got, again, the bowl-like structure. I think 21st might possibly be a bit low for Swansea City, but again, there's not really much to say. It's got the same bowl structure as a couple of teams in the Championship. I just don't like this. 20th place, I've gone for Plymouth Argyle, Home Park. Now don't get me wrong, Home Park generates a really good atmosphere, and I like this fact that all three stands are connected, which is a similar theme to a couple of stadiums in the Championship, but for me nothing really gives off that wow factor, which sometimes can be a good thing, and I'm sure it suits Plymouth fans really nicely. I'm sure they really like Home Park, but again, this might be one I've ranked too low, but I'm just not really convinced at all by Plymouth Stadium. 19th place, Burnley. Now this is where the old school fans are going to really start going at me in the comments. I've never been a fan of Turf Moor. You know, they keep going up and down the Premier League, and I keep thinking every year Turf Moor's going to grow on me. It's like that old traditional feel, but I just don't really see what there is to really like about Turf Moor. Okay, it's traditional, and of course there aren't many old school grounds anymore, and Burnley follow that theme. You know, it's definitely got that traditional vibe about it. I'm just not a fan, and of course it's my opinion, but let me know your thoughts on Turf Moor in the comments. 18th place, Cardiff City. Now this was such a tough decision to rank it low. Of course, with Wales national team playing there, we've seen the atmosphere you can get inside Cardiff City Stadium when Wales are playing there. But when you look at it from the inside, and when you look at Cardiff City playing there, they don't really fill out. It's a stadium that's big in size, but I don't think there's many two characteristics which make you look at it and go, that is a really nice stadium. And of course, that's something I think the Cardiff City Stadium does lack, but like I said, it's great when Wales play there. 17th place, Blackburn Rovers, Ewood Park. Now I've been to Ewood Park last year in the FA Cup. I think you can definitely make some great noise in the away end, as we've seen 7,000 Wrexham fans, but I just think it's a relatively normal layout, and of course you've got that stand that's running along the side, which is definitely following that old school traditional vibe with the low roof, but I think it's a stadium that's lacked life in recent times. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of life inside Ewood Park the last couple of seasons. Whether that will change if they start doing better, but it doesn't really get out of the bottom 10 for me. 16th place, Stoke City, the Britannia as it was called back in the day. Once used to create a really hostile atmosphere inside. You'd have the Rory Delap throw-ins, Peter Crouch scoring worldies there, you know, beating Liverpool 6-1. There were some good days inside the Britannia, and I'm sure Stoke City fans will really like it. And I've got nothing against it personally, I just think it's a bang average stadium. You've of course got that normal layout inside the ground, but one thing that has probably moved it a couple of spaces lower is the fact they've moved the away end from behind the goal to the side of the stand. What is this nonsense? That is not on Stoke City. 15th place, QPR, Loftus Road. Now I am a big fan of old school grounds, and I really do like, you know, that old school layout, and I think QPR have exactly that. It could do with a lick of paint here and there. I think there is a bit of parts where it's almost too old school, and I think an upgrade on Whether they'll get a new stadium or whether they'll upgrade on the stands, etc., I don't know, but there's definitely pros and cons to Loftus Road, but in my opinion, it just is an average stadium. 14th place, I've gone for Millwall, the Den. It's called the Den for a reason. It's got that oldish structure. You can get a really good atmosphere inside the Den on a match day. And I think Millwall are planning on moving stadiums, if I'm not mistaken, in the next couple of seasons, which will be a shame because I think the Den, yes, I've ranked it 14th place. It's got its characteristics and I think overall it is just a decent stadium. 13th place, I've gone for Middlesbrough. Now it definitely does more than the job for Middlesbrough. It seems as if it's got that, you know, that new traditional look inside the stadium, sort of that not old school layout, but it's got a layout that doesn't really match the outside of the stadium in the aerial view, which I think is definitely not a bad thing. The traditional look inside, and I'm sure you can get a really good atmosphere generated in Riverside. 12th place in the middle, Derby County. I would have loved to have visited Pride Park last season, but of course Derby did absolutely phenomenal, and of course they had to get promoted to the Championship, but it's a stadium that's fully connected. If any FIFA players are watching this, they'll know Moulton Road. It reminds me of Moulton Road on FIFA, but when you're the losing side inside Pride Park, I'm sure it's a place many players and fans do not want to be. I'm a big fan of Pride Park, the fact it's all connected, keep the atmosphere in, and one ground I would like to visit one day, hopefully. 11th place, Coventry City, the Coventry Society Arena, whatever it's called, I don't really know. One that again could cause mixed opinions in the comments down below. I think it's a good ground overall. Being inside there on a match day, of course, it's another ground that's fully connected, keeps the atmosphere in, and it might lack character, but with the trajectory that Coventry City are on in the minute and how well they're doing, there is definitely going to be a good atmosphere generated inside that ground. Of course, when we played them in the FA Cup, we beat them 4-3, of course. You know, when they got that goal back to make it 4-3, I thought, you know, there's only like half of the stadium out, but I thought the atmosphere was good. They could obviously generate really good noise on a match day, so that's another reason why I think Coventry City is just slightly above some other teams in this list. 10th place, Bristol City. Ashton Gate, I'm actually a big fan of Ashton Gate, a really aesthetically pleasing stadium in my opinion, of course with a key factor being that big main stand that is running across the side. I think give it 10-15 years when they slowly get round each stand and develop them, I think this will be a very, very good stadium, and hopefully we can see Bristol City in the Premier League sometime soon. I think they're one of the only teams in England not to have been in the Premier League, so a ground I like and a ground I would like to see in the Prem. 9th place, I've gone for Watford Vicarage Road. Now despite only being 17th ranked in this whole of the Championship for based on capacity wise, Vicarage Road is a proper ground. A lot of people might disagree with me on this one and say it's boring, it's got no character to it, but I think this is one I would really like to visit, and I think it's one that's got a bit of character to it. Vicarage Road, decent stadium. 8th place, Portsmouth Fratton Park. Now I'm going to give you a fun fact about Fratton Park. Fratton Park is the only professional English football ground that's not located on the mainland of Great Britain. It's located on Portsea Island. Very interesting one. I'm sure a lot of people would probably already know that, but that was a really surprising fact when I saw it. Fratton Park, it's a really characteristic ground. There's a good atmosphere generated, lots of character like I said, and one that will I ever visit? Hopefully if Wrexham go up or Portsmouth come down this season. 7th place, Norwich City, Carrow Road. Again, another fun fact about Carrow Road. At the time of building, it took them just 82 days to build Carrow Road in 1935, which, imagine building a stadium now in 1935. Okay, yes, back then it was probably a smaller stadium in capacity, but 82 days, that's like 3 months. I do really like Carrow Road, and I think it is quite a smart stadium. Again, I say it about many other teams on this list, one I would like to visit. 6th place, Preston North End, Deepdale. Now I think this is a really, really smart stadium, rich in history. Of course, you've got club legends engraved onto the seats, and I think it's a nice layout inside and out the ground. Of course, it's not anywhere near the top in terms of size, but if you're looking at character, it's one of the best in the Championship. 5th place, West Bromwich Albion, the Hawthorns, another ground which has all 4 corners filled, which just adds to the Hawthorns atmosphere. A ground, of course, that is full of character. They've got the big East Stand, of course, massive on the side of the stadium. I would love to visit the Hawthorns. I think the Hawthorns really does suit West Bromwich Albion well, and one that I would like to see back in the Premier League very soon. 4th place, Sunderland, the Stadium of Light. Of course, it's got that bowl-like structure from the outside, but I can guarantee you it does not feel like a bowl-like structure from the inside when you're inside the Stadium of Light. The atmosphere you can generate is electric. It's a good stadium, of course, with a vibrant atmosphere that can be generated. Not sure about the away end though, being that high up. It's probably a bit like Newcastle when you have to walk about 50 flights of steps, but Stadium of Light, really, really nice stadium. 3rd place, Sheffield United, Bramall Lane. This is just the definition of a traditional stadium. Of course, with the traditional cop stand, all one tier across the back of the goal. Unfortunately, I've seen us lose twice at Bramall Lane in the past couple of seasons. It's not been an enjoyable place to go, but when you go inside, you can just feel that old school traditional vibe. Bramall Lane is a proper stadium, and of course one of the oldest in world football, so Bramall Lane a deserved third place. Second place, Sheffield Wednesday. We're moving over to Sheffield United's neighbours. I'm sure their fans won't be happy watching this video, but Hillsborough is Hillsborough. Again, you've just got the iconic Kop that runs behind the goal, a capacity of 11,200, which is 32% of the whole capacity of their stadium. Both Sheffield teams have incredible Kops behind the goals, but Hillsborough, for me, it's a really old school ground, plenty of history, and one that I think does need a lick of paint here and there. Definitely could have some upgrades done to the ground, but if you're looking at it from just being inside the stadium, looking at the structure and the layout, really traditional and a really good historic ground. First place, there was only going to be one winner for me. I've loved this ground for years. It's Leeds United, and of course it's Ellen Road. Ellen Road is Ellen Road, a ground rich in history. Of course, there's been some phenomenal, fantastic moments inside Ellen Road in the previous 30-40 years. It's plenty of history created inside the ground, and one that makes a really intimidating atmosphere. Of course, when we've seen when they're in the playoffs in the Premier League, when they've got marching on together, blaring out, it can just be a really good atmosphere inside there. But it's a proper ground, and up there, in my opinion, with one of the best in the whole of England. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who has the best ground in the Championship? Who has the worst? Make sure to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you for more Championship rankings, League 1 rankings, League 2 rankings in the next few videos to come. Until then, take care.